Hello and welcome, listeners, to another episode of Tactical Awareness. It's Season 3, Episode 27. We're on to a new faction this week. In Heroes to Zeros, it's Starmada, the first of the O12 sectorials. O12 is the newest hyper-faction after the split-off of JFSA, and their original sectorial, Starmada, is a favorite of Dan's. So let's dive in with the boys and get this list-building exercise underway, and then wrap up any profiles we did not cover. Because Dan seems like he's finished eating, so he's now ready to take the lead on this. This is your time, buddy. This is when you shine.
Shine like the big dumb moron I am.
We started the podcast on this faction,
It's true.
and we did the entire breakdown when you didn't know anything, and now you get to show the longtime listeners that you are now the master of the O12. That this is your thing. So, hey everybody, welcome to the Heroes to Zeros. This is our new faction breakdown series starting off for O12. And the order that we do these things in is typically oldest to newest. So we do sectorials in the order that they were released. And that means we're starting with Starmada today. And you actually, I can't remember, but when you started playing, because you started playing after you got back from Owen's wedding, and I gave you the starter set from Wildfire.
Yeah, I was just playing.
You're just playing vanilla. That's right. You're just playing vanilla O12 in the beginning. That's right. Because I gave you a Zeta and the starter set, and you had enough.
The fire teams just confused the heck out of me, and I was like, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah,
you just got me in trouble constantly.
And then we did the fire teams episodes, and then you were like, I'm going to try Starmada, and then it was all beta troopers all the time for a while. So why don't you jump in and get us started with your list? Each of us making a list and then doing the roundup at the end.
Yeah, just start off. O12 is cool because they feel like a different faction. Like when I like the other faction you play, whatever, you kind of feels like, oh, this is kind of like a version of this or a version of this. And O12 has enough unique things that don't really feel like anything else. They're kind of like their own thing. Obviously, it's infinity, so you can only get so unique. But
the fact that like their offhand guns are all non-lethal, like that's a big deal. You know what I mean? They don't have flamethrowers, they don't have sticky guns. Like that's a pretty unique thing too.
Which sometimes I hate, and then sometimes I love. But it's
when you brick a tag with it, it's pretty great.
I've been trying to get my like white banner, just play an event with that, and then I want to come back more towards Stormada and Vanilla and have more fun, explore the new edition with them. So my list. We start out with a duo of a Varangian and Shona. This is just a classic. This existed last edition too, of just you run forward as a duo. Varangian throws smoke. Shona walks up and around and tries to punch something in the face. Shona got a lot better. She's really good at dodging now. She actually has no wounding cap and shock immune. And if she gets there, she'll do the job. Then we have a blue coat Psycop Harris or core. Blue coat, just a cheap blue coat, adhesive launcher, heavy riot stopper, para-CC weapon. It does have a cobra pistol, so it can do lethal damage, decent lethal damage in melee or range. So that's kind of nice. But otherwise, it's just kind of there to hold the link together. I got my favorite profile, and I think all of O12, which is a Psycop MSV1, multi-marksman rifle, nano plus one burst, and armed turret Thunderbolt. Armed turrets can't come back, but I never really reloaded them much anyways. They're kind of just, you drop them off, you sacrifice 4 inches of movement, and pay 3 more points than the other profile, and you drop an HMG range turret that kind of sits back in your deployment. It just makes life difficult in the late game. Best case scenario, worst case scenario, you take half an order from your opponent with them shooting at it.
Right.
Then I got the Psycop. I kind of want to just bring 2 of those profiles, but you only get 1 disco baller in this faction, and then that's the Psycop Killer Hacker.
Mm-hmm.
So Psycop Killer Hacker, you got the disco baller. This is just combi rifle nanopulsar, but I mean, there's still BS13 with X visors. Which is great for disco ballers of just like hucking it way deep if you really need to, if you get into trouble. And it's a killer hacker with Whip 13. And they also have Mimetism. I love Psychops. They're the best. They're the coolest. I love them. I love them. I love them. I got a Cyber Ghost. He's got Hacking Device Plus and Pitcher. If you have Hacking Device Plus, might as well bring it. And a pitcher is always really good.
Cyber Ghost, that profile is
for 21 points is
so cheap.
BTS
Convertible
6,
pitcher,
14.
Yeah. BTS 6/14. Like, he has nothing else. He just has stealth, which is kind of cool because it means if he needs to walk into hacking range of somebody, he can. Right? Stealth is kind of a big deal when you're a killer hacker, is that you can just like sneak through like other people's hacking areas until you need to get to the one that you're trying to kill. BS has a pitcher for doing that too if he wants to. And then the two options. The only beef I have with him is that he's AVA 1. Because I want both those profiles. I love that he's Hacking Device Plus, and he's also, I think, your only Hacking Device Plus, which it means your only access to white noise.
Because the killer hacker profile 18 points, super, super good. But for just 3 more points, really,
you get the white noise, and the white noise is huge.
White noise solves so many problems.
White noise is the disco baller. You know what I mean? Like, it's effectively another avenue for being able to block visors, just like a disco ball can.
Exactly. Then I have a fun little, I really like this duo, Beta Trooper Secudroid. So Beta Trooper is a Spitfire Nanopulsar +1 burst Tinbot. -3. It's 36 points, but Beta Trooper is Arm 3, BTS 3, BS 13, Move 6-2, Climbing Plus, Mimetism, Remote Presence. And so the Secudroid is there to pick up your little drop pod, fixer-upper when the Beta Trooper inevitably rolls poorly. But also the Secudroid has a 360 visor, also Mimetism, also Climbing Plus, Adhesive Launcher, Flashball. So he's like your non-lethal option. But he's only CC 17, but he's got a Para CC weapon -9. And so unless you have Natural Born Warrior, you don't really want to punch this guy.
Yeah.
And sticky guns and flashballs. So it's like if you need to, he can do some work.
There's I love the theme for them, really, is the fact they're supposed to be like the train conductors. You know what I mean? Like, they're the guys that like beat the heads of the people that are on the actual spaceships. And so, like, yeah, the fact that they're a weird melee dude, I don't know, it makes me happy. Para CC -6 with Natural Born Warrior is so funny. They just club basic
That's
dudes.
9.
No, he's looking at a blue coat right now.
Yeah.
He's thinking.
Also that.
Sorry, which one are you looking at? You're looking at
Secudroid.
The Secudroid. The blue coat's assistant in beating people up.
That's right. The blue coat's shock paddles.
Yeah.
Hold him down. I'm going to hit him again.
That's right. Hold this guy down while I break his legs.
Yeah, Climbing Plus, Spitfire just seems really solid. Of like, you can get anywhere, you can get whatever angle you want. If it's available, then you can get that.
Yeah. And the second counts as a Beta Trooper, right, for fire team purposes?
Yeah. So it counts as a duo or a pure duo.
All the robots go together. You can stick Hector and Bishi in that link as well, which is funny.
Yeah, you can do some crazy things with it, but just trying to save on points.
Yeah.
Just the one Beta Trooper. And
the duos are where it's at.
Yeah, and so it's just solid. I got a Sarko Forward Observer with the Wild Parrot. I love this profile so much. They got Infiltration and Camouflage, so you get a camo on the line, which is great. Also Climbing Plus, so you can kind of put it where you want on top of weird rooftops, and you can get down and do things. He's a specialist Forward Observer.
It's worth noting, though, he's your only camo infiltrator in this faction.
Also,
so like, everyone's gonna know who this is. Like, everyone's gonna know it's a Sarko, because I just remember this was a beef you had when you started playing Starmada originally, before this guy came out, because there was nothing. Like, you're playing against Owen,
there was no midfield,
and there was literally no midfield. It was just like, what do I do to get a midfield? And this guy was the first guy, and he's ABA 2, but everyone knows what he is because there's no other real midfield presence. You've got forward deploying Casanova, and I think that's it. Does anybody else have forward deployment? Just having a look here.
Andromeda.
You will kind of be teleporting. Crushers do as well, Nightshades. Yeah. But you
have new Nightshades now too as well. But no infiltration. Like, everything's +4, +8.
And Crushers have the +8 option.
Yeah. So Sarko is just a really good option for the order efficiency of just starting right there. And you can sit and do nothing with them, but also just having a Wild Parrot for when you need it is really, really good. But it's hard. It's hard when you're a tag trying to do things. You can't run back far enough and hide from that Wild Parrot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna throw that EM at people.
Got the Raven Eye Lieutenant. This will probably be a somewhat obvious lieutenant, but that's fine. Whatever. He'll hide in the back.
Come get him. If you can get to him, you've done. The game's probably over at that point anyway.
It is what it is. But he at least has mine layer. Yeah, mine still. So that's also nice. In group 2, that's 10 orders. In group 2, we have another Sarko. And then we have a duo of a Roadbot Oko. These share the tag, I do believe, in this. Yeah, they both have the Lawkeeper tag. And so, not that you really, really need it, because they're kind of just the objective goers. If the Sarkos are kind of pinned down or whatever, or, hopefully the smoke and everything else is, you don't have to fight. You just run. The robot is extremely fast, also with climbing plus.
Just dashes through, yeah.
Has climbing plus 6-4. And so they fling themselves across the board and do whatever the heck you want to do. And then I have another second Oko, and both of them are with the tactical awareness. The Okos are the Fort Observer bots. And so I have 7 orders in my second group with the 2 tac awares.
Tac awares, yeah.
But yeah, just lots of climbing plus to be able to kind of sneak through and then come up and fight where I want to.
Yeah, the ability to vector in that list is pretty impressive, because you just go up and over shit where people are like having to walk around. It also means that it's really hard to keep you off objectives, because you can take the non-easy route to get there. You know what I mean? Like, you can go up the wall as opposed to going around and having to break through. So it's hard. What I found is it's hard against lists like that to set up the like defense. You know what I mean? To set up like the Overwatch defense, because the things that are blocking line of sight to your defending pieces, you just walk over with your climbing plus and, get around it.
It also makes your deployment really easy, because then you're not stuck in that, like, okay, what's the method that we're going to get forward from behind this building? It's like over, through.
And you can respond like other armies, like when something like shows up in the rear, like you get like a parachutist or like a deployment zone guy arriving, your ability to pivot and go back is a lot faster, because you just go over the things that are in the way as opposed to going around them.
I'll be honest, this is pretty similar to what a list I would have brought in N4 as well. But I think it's better now in N5.
They haven't changed much.
Not a ton.
They're just better.
Just a little bit better.
Well, they're better because they can take duos, because the duos are better, right? So like they inherently had a million duo options. I think because of like the proliferation of their like bracket names, they have so many quality duo options, and everything except for the security fire team, where you have your cheap guys anyway, like your Kappas and your Raven Eyes, have the duo option, right? Like your Nokas can duo, the Beta Troopers can duo, the Bronzes can duo, the Varangians can duo, the road teams can duo. So like you have access to 4 out of your 5 fire team mixes have the duo option. And then you still have a Harris option where the guys are like 12 points, you know what I mean? So you don't really care. You'll buy that extra body just to get the bonus. And the great thing is that the Harris option is just like 2 Kappas rubbing the shoulders of a Bronze, being like, here's your extra bullets, sir. Go be total immunity while we paramedic you. Here, would you like something else, sir?
Yeah, I couldn't fit in the Bronze it was like the Bronze or the Beta Trooper. The Beta Trooper is like almost 40 points, and the Bronze is more, but it's just kind of like just fitting in those midfield kind of those Okos that are 18 points, the Robot 22 points, Sarko 22 points, kind of giving that kind of like more evened out.
Yeah.
Instead of like the big bad Bronze guy. But
yeah,
I think that's kind of how I prefer to play most of the time. But there's a lot of different ways you can build these lists.
We want to go next there, Owen, or should I go?
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
I'm not going to not bring a Bronze.
Shocker. I have Jack's complete lack of surprise. I put my list in the Zoom chat because I have apparently been logged into Discord, and I need the phone I'm using as a camera right now is the thing I need to unlock my Discord. So I'll do that in between episodes. So if you want to look at mine, you can go over there. Okay. So you go ahead and go first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not the same as Dan's. I didn't bring any of the random robot stuff that exists.
Yeah.
Saladin Lieutenant off the top, because the Saladin Lieutenant option for Starmada is just a wild animal.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's better. He's just like, so he's got Mine Layer 2, Repeater, Decoy 2. And so when you deploy him, you put down 5 things.
It's a wild option. Yeah. For 33 or 34 points.
Yeah. And so for 34 points, I'm going to get my Strategos and I'm going to get a command token. And I get counterintelligence, and then I have my mind layers and my decoys. But one of the first things is I'll go through the list, but one of the first things is that first command token that he gives me is the one I spend to keep a third model in reserve basically every game. So in the list there, so we've got Saladin. Then we have my blue coat with his hacker friends. So I've got blue coat, Psychop Killer, Psychop Regular. I wanted the disco ball as well. Psychops are fine, and I just wanted them to be hackers. There's an argument about them not being in the same group if enemies come after you with pitchers. The blue coat just shoots you with his pistol if that's an issue. Like I just dissolve my list because I have the extra command token anyway, so I just don't do that. Then I have two more blue coats, just adhesive launcher riot stoppers, and then I have a bronze HMG and Parvati. And so when I would deploy, you'd have Saladin on the board. You'd have the blue coats in basically every 12 inches across the board, the three of them. And then I choose where my Cyclops are going to go. And then I hold the bronze and Parvati in reserve. And then they go between whatever two blue coats I like. And that becomes their link for my core link. Yeah. And you won't ever know where my weapons are actually going to be deployed.
Because it could be across the board within 8 of any of those 3 guys.
Right. And they'll all get the benefit so long as one of them is near the other. I have a Fuzzbot repeater just to reload the pictures on my Cyber Ghost, who is in group 2, the Hacking Device Plus. Yeah. I don't need a killer hacker. I have a killer hacker already. And he has stealth, so his job is to just avoid other hackers. He's there because after my next repeater, I have a Millicent missile launcher bot. Because I'm going to set up the missile shots if I need to. If the bronze HMG can't get through them, then missiles will. I've got 2 Varangians in a little duo, or more often than not, each end of the board, offering smoke as needed, and then a Ment just to make sure that when Saladin dies, because he will die, someone will go after him. Yeah. I'm not in loss of lieutenant. And so it's like, okay, let's just keep going then. But this is the list that I played every round when we went up to Edmonton for an event. I borrowed Dan's models to play this list and then played Dan in that event. It is really good.
You won like a dirty little rat.
Yeah. Yeah. I won
Beat you with your own team. Beat you with your own team.
I got a little cramped in my deployment zone, and I put Sun Tzu in a spot where he couldn't go back because I put a model beside him. And so he just had to eat a bronze HMG and died in 2 orders, which was unlikely. But hey, what do you do?
That immunity enhanced bronze. He doesn't care. He'll just shoot you. Like, yeah, flash pulses are a problem, but what if I just shoot you a lot? And he's got his 2 blue coats. Yeah.
But imagine I just killed you.
But I was a big fan of this list. It was pretty easy to pilot, and it came down to just first solution is the bronze just shoots you. Second solution is I shoot a pitcher and hack you so that you can't fight me. Third solution is I disco ball or smoke so I don't fight you, and then I'll just do objectives because all my guys are crazy fast between Parvati jumping around as needed, the Cyclops running around as needed, the Cyber Ghost running around as needed. Didn't really have any issues doing objectives or scenario. Yeah.
And the bronze is climbing plus as well.
Yes. Yes.
Like, Starmada is climbing plus the faction. And
everything climbs, even the bronze.
Especially the bronze.
Especially the bronze, like Spider-Man hanging out with all his guns.
Yep. When he dodges and then goes up the wall, and now you can't get him in CC, and he
it's so funny.
Yeah. That's my list. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there's apart from Millicent and Saladin, your unit picks are pretty similar to everybody else's. Dan didn't take a bronze. I should probably talk about this guy. You mentioned the immunity enhanced and climbing plus and stuff like that. He's also got a 360 visor and martial arts 1. Like, he's really hard to approach. And then if you want, with martial arts 1, you can stack to -9 because he's got a para CC. So like he's like immune to dedicated melee troops.
asterisks, the change to Natural Born Warrior went where he was really always good to now he just dies to Natural Born Warrior guys. They just beat him up.
Well, slowly, because they still have to get through his armor and the fact he's immunity enhanced and stuff like that. He's not as good against them for sure.
He used to be good all the time because he was leaning on his para weapon that would add on top. And so even if you had Natural Born Warrior, you'd ignore the martial arts, but a -6 is a -6.
Yeah. And now you ignore the whole -9, which is bananas. So right. He does have an Achilles heel, you're right.
Yeah. And like he's still solid. If you don't have Natural Born Warrior, you're probably not going to want to fight him. But if you do, all right, let's go, Bronze.
But the same thing, Bronze is, I mean, it's only PS7, but it's still a, EMCC weapon.
Well, it's against BTS. The thing is, PS7 doesn't seem like a lot until you're against the lower of the 2 armor stats all the time, and you're having it.
And it's half.
And you're making 2 rolls. You know what I mean? So, like, and all you're trying to do is stop the onslaught by isolating the guy anyway, typically. If you're fighting someone that gets bricked as well, that's just a double extra bonus.
It's just fun if they don't have Natural Born Warrior, you're like, -9.
Yeah, most of the stuff.
Who are you? Then I'll hit you with my other weapon.
We didn't talk about Varangians either. These guys are different-ish from the last edition. Like, still smoke grenades, which is really why you're taking them, is to get smoke into this faction.
They're pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, well, Berserk is the big change, right? Because Berserk changed unilaterally, where it's not an opposed. It's not like a non-face-to-face test anymore.
Your Varangians got into CC? Wild. That never happened for me. They chain rifled and they died.
Berserk is still pretty handy. True. I mean, fucking Shona never got into combat back then either.
She tried. She tried so hard.
She tried so hard. They tried so many times to make Shona work, and she just didn't.
She got so far, but in the end, she died.
It didn't really matter.
Now she can get into CC.
She sure can.
No, Varangians being dogged with chain rifles are when you use them as smoke batteries to kind of, and they have impetuous, so you can kind of line them up for free smoke throws. Yeah. So even though it's less reliable now, you can get 2 for the price of 1 order kind of thing.
And Fist 14, they throw like whatchamacallits, they throw like
everyone with smoke.
Yeah, it used to be 17.
The Morats. The Morats, no, because I mean they're base 14. Like they throw like the Morats too, where they're super strong, or the McCalls.
Or Yojimbo.
Jimbo, yeah.
But like, Varangians are great. Like you can throw smoke and then run into the smoke and be like looking at fire teams, or just like stand there and be like, okay, smoke goes away and I'm looking at 4 people with my chain rifles.
Yep. And we didn't talk about Shona because you didn't take Shona.
Nope.
Dan, did you take Shona?
No, I took Shona. I mean, Shona. Did we talk about it when we talked about?
We talked about it when we talked about.
But basically,
Svartalheim.
She's in Svartalheim. She
it's the exact same duo.
She hits real hard.
Yeah. She hits like a ton of bricks. AP explosive goes come up in PS4, and then Martial Arts 4. Right, so 2 dice.
So she gets the 2 dice. If she gets there with the Varangian,
stealth, that winning cap dodges like 17s. Dodges 4 inches on 17.
What's really nice now is the dodge 17 for 4 inches. And so you could walk up with your toe with the smoke and then roll a 17 and move another. Like you're basically almost 5 inches from the edge of your smoke. You can go in and then
active turn dodging is amazing. Yeah, you can go around a corner and use that smoke to just hide you for the dodge, and then come out of the smoke and charge next turn.
And she's got super jump, so she can jump 8 and then dodge 4.
She can jump 8 into combat.
Also that.
Shocking it's pretty cool. I'm glad she has.
Finally shocking me.
Finally shocking me. Yeah, shocking me to know that's such a huge deal.
Because she had no wound cap before, but she didn't have shock immune.
She didn't have shock immune. So
everyone always had a shock weapon, and she was just like,
But then SMGs lost their shock, and now everything else did too, and now she's immune to it. So go get them.
Or a Mindwood killer. She failed a dodge and a Mindwood killer.
Didn't she do like your whole objective that one time on Mindwipe?
Yeah, well, there's that one time.
Stamped her feet, killed the thing, stamped her feet, did like the all 7. Yeah.
Yeah, she was just like dodging all my attacks, just running.
No, we played against Dan.
Killed all 3 servers.
I killed every model in his army, 1 order at a time, running along the back edge of the board.
Yeah, it was like no dice went my way. There were some that were like iffy for him, but it didn't matter in the end because he would have survived. with
Just Shona
with-
doing
yeah.
Shona things. That's great.
and it was just everything went perfectly, and it was just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
never happened.
Jump 8, kill a Psychop. Jump 8, kill a Psychop.
Kill
Jump
them
8,
all.
kill a Blue Coat. Jump 8, kill a. Yeah. It was a bit of a blender.
It's
That was the
tremendous.
same game where that Yodam just ate those EM shots in the chest and was like, I don't care about your EM. Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
And I failed 3 disco ballers in a row on like 16. I'm like, no, this is my only chance. Or not.
17, 17, 18. I guess fuck me then.
Yeah.
All right, well then let's get into mine. This list is called You Don't Make Friends with Salad because I didn't use Saladine. I have all the same greatest hits, except I went a logical step further than Owen. So I have a Cyber Ghost with a Hacking Device Plus because I start these lists with Cyber Ghosts. And then I have a Harris, a Bronze Fire Team Harris of HMG Bronze, Red Fury Bronze, and a Ment. Ment with the heavy ride stock for +1 burst. Because you know what? I deserve that. I deserve the Ment. Then a Nyoka FTO for a Nyoka Fire Team with a heavy rocket launcher and a Chain Colt. Hanging out with Parvati to go get Parvati to whichever of those bronzes goes down to give them a back rub and bring them back with full wounds because she's Doctor 2 wounds. So her job is to fix all of the broken bronzes and bring them back to life because they're really hard to put down. Immunity Enhanced Arm 4 2 Vita is shocking.
I played many games with Parvati and with bronzes, and it's very nice.
Yeah. Raven Eye Lieutenant, because of course Raven Eye Lieutenant. And I believe they can hang out in the fire team with the Nyoka and Parvati if I needed to as well, but I probably wouldn't.
I think just a security.
Possibly just to keep them alive, yeah. And then Fuzzbot Deactivator Repeater to reload the Cyber Ghost, and then Fuzzbot Hacker Evo Hacker to throw up some firewalls in the bronzes just for funsies. Because why not be BTS 9 against hacking? It's my one weakness, so I'm gonna reinforce against it. And then in group 2, I've got a Raptor Killer Hacker with NCO. I love this profile because the Diva Bot and the Raptor, because he's a killer hacker, both turn into smiley faces when he cyber masks.
The classic.
So, the classic double smiley face. In my army, it's Wheels and the Fishman. So I have the Warsenal the little fish guys like token as one of my cyber masks, and then the other one is Fusilier Angus. So Fusilier Angus and the Fishman, or Angus and the Fishman, I guess they turn into Angus and the Fishman. Nobody knows who they are. I got a Kidda to extend my hacking out a little bit if I want and for cheap order. And then I got Shona and a Varangian to do Shona and Varangian things, which is to run up and stab things with swords. That killer hacker Raptor, he's mostly using his cyber mask, to be honest with you, because being able to walk up with a heavy flamethrower and a multi-rifle and template, so like do template shooting at 10 inches.
They got an emitter now too.
I know. Yeah, so they can hunt tags at short range and they can hunt
long range.
Literally anything at short range too if they want to. But they can come up with the they can safely advance basically under that whatchamacallit, that marker state. Yeah.
Raptors also have 360 visors.
Sure is.
You can hide them in, and that's like state to keep them safe. Or if you really know, you can go on suppression, and there's no safe angle.
Shoot every direction with emitters or multi rifles.
Yeah.
You could get a flash pulse version too if you take the Ford Observer, but I always take the killer hacker because I just love him. He's great. And that's it. That's my list. Not a lot different except for the Raptor. I took the Raptor and I took the HMG and Red Fury Bronze so I could cover both range bands. I'm good all the way to 8 basically on the range bands.
I wish Nyokas were better because they're kind of like that core part of a lot of the fire teams that you want to flesh out. And you end up bringing the heavy rocket launcher because it's just the cheapest. You get your Swick because you're not using Swick anyways and 18 points.
The heavy rocket launcher I would pair with the Bronze Red Fury to be able to cover the range bands. For 18 points, it makes them a duo. You know what I mean? Because they share keywords in the Nyoka Fire team. And then you'd be able to cover up to 32 with the heavy rocket launcher. I think there's a reason to do that. Like you could just switch off back and forth. I just wish, and the SR-1 heavy rocket launcher is fucking dangerous as shit.
The hits is real good.
Damage 5 and you burn is, or PS5 is fucking great.
And Nyokas also have climbing plus.
They sure do. The one thing I wish they had is some kind of mod Like a BS -3 or a mimetism. Like I just wish they had some kind of mod because they are glass. Yeah, it's just armor 1, right? So like,
Yeah, but then the
BS
price,
armor would
their
be
points
fine.
would go up, right?
Yeah, just take some of their gear. They don't need a +1 burst heavy pistol, burst 3 heavy pistol for some reason. And that's it. So, is there anything we didn't super cover outside of actually the first thing that we didn't cover, which I think is worth talking about because none of us talking about, was Casanova. He's so much better than he used to be.
I didn't even look at him.
He's something we didn't much use in previous editions, but decoy 1, dodge +3, so he dodges on 14.
Decoy now. That's really good.
Shock immune in martial arts, no wounding cap, min -6, specialist stealth. So he's the Spike Spiegel is what he's supposed to be. So he's got every stat basically, like to make him like a defensive fighter. BS 13 on his gun, and he's either infiltration Fizz 15 to go on the opponent's half of the board, or he's for deploy 8 mine layer. So you can drop his EM mines on the ground. And then he's SMG and nanopulsar +1 burst. He's still got mono -3. So he's -6 in CC with CC 22 and a mono weapon and a silence pistol. The -3 CC monofilamental weapon is a fucking cool weapon. I like the -6 back, and martial arts too is pretty cool. It doesn't get the 2 dice, but he stacks a deep mod and his weapon is hella violent. What do you guys think about this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's expensive for what he does still, right? He's got a lot of points, but for how many points he is, it's like he's BS 13 and doing what? Submachine gun with it, or a nanopulsar, and it's like make him BS 10 and drop him another 5 points or something, and then maybe right.
Yeah,
or give him a multi-rifle or something. Then it's interesting.
And like infiltration Fizz 15 is still a 12 to do in their half infiltrate. So like 60% of the time, what's her name? Shinobu can't land it on a 16. I'm not going to land it on a 12.
Yours can't. Yeah.
So this was last edition, but I brought a list where I brought him and Andromeda, and I would just roll both their infiltrations because odds are I get one, and it would just be someone in their deployment zone with templates and just be annoying. And
if you had a marker state,
I was just going to say, you know what? Not even a marker state. If you had Cyber Mask, decoy Hollow Mask, so you don't know what he is. Like decoy Hollow Mask.
I mean, you know what he is. He's the only thing that comes out of your deployment zone in this.
But there's a bunch of forward deployment stuff in here. There's a bunch.
Not really. We just talked about that.
No, there's not a lot of infiltration. There is a bunch of forward deployment.
Right. So it's a Nightshade who's hidden, or a Crusher. So he can pretend to be a Crusher.
Pretend to be a Crusher. Yeah, exactly. They're roughly the same point value too.
But I'd rather just have a Crusher. Like BS 13, Mimetism 3, Shock Immune, no wounding.
That's the next thing we're talking about. Because at least then he's got a gun. Because Crushers have guns.
Do you really want to fight in melee with Casanova? He's not bad at it. He doesn't
have a gun. That's his problem. He doesn't have a gun.
Well, I think just a combi rifle would be fine.
Casanova will kill a tag. That's what he'll do. He'll a non-gator, non-CC tag. He'll go kill. With a mono, yeah, he will.
How is he getting this?
He's gonna hope that he's gonna go on a hope and a prayer.
He'll dodge on. He'll dodge
14.
Yeah.
Right.
Dodge 14 on the corner.
You want to go kill a tag? Just bring Shona instead. Sure, he starts back a bit further. It takes 2 more orders to get there, but it's way more consistent.
And she's cheaper by a lot.
She's 8 points cheaper, 9 points cheaper. Yeah.
She's either 9 or 10 points cheaper, which is just straight up another guy in this faction.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think they've solved him yet. Like he's not bad, but there's other things in this faction. He suffers from a bad case of other people in this faction do it better. If you want to do melee, Shona does it better, or Bishi does it better. If you want to do shooting, the Crusher is just the exact same guy but better.
The hard part for him
is he's got Mim 6, right? Mim 6 is no joke,
but no gun.
No real way to use it.
This is his only home. He's only in Starmada, so. His best hope, he's competing against others in his own group.
I like his model.
I think that he should just have impersonation.
Ooh, yeah.
Change that infiltration profile to an impersonation profile.
Impersonation 2 even. Yeah.
Sure, you can make it the lesser version. That's fine. But then, like,
then he's the infiltration.
But then he's the guy, right? Then he's actually doing the thing that he's supposed to be, right? This NOC operative where he's like, haha, I'm the charming guy who sneaks in and blah, blah, blah.
And he's
Like,
spiking the janitor's outfit. You know what I mean?
right.
Like in Cowboy Bebop. He's actually doing the trope that he's trying to imitate. So
If infiltration
I would agree.
was that, like, you can get rid of his decoy version. Like, he doesn't have decoy when he does that. That's fine. I'd bring him. He'd be like a speculo killer for these guys. And specular killers are okay, so he'd be okay. Like,
give him impersonation too. I think he'd be great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that would be my change to him if I could.
And it would make him different from Crushers. Give him 2 profiles. Give him the Mind Layer one, and then give him instead of the Infiltration Fizz 15, give him a.
And it gives one extra thing to Starmada to be unique. Like they're the only ones who get bronzes now, which is a big deal. Yeah. But this would be one other thing that they have an impersonation game, which does not show up often. There's like 2 factions who do that. And
they'd be the only other humans that do.
Well, other than the other humans that do. But
give him a grief operator, basically. That's what I mean. They'd be the only other, that's what I'm saying. They're the only other humans. It's just them and Hack. Right? Yeah. That's it. So them and Hack. And you make them the Toho version where they have like a grief operator, which is a lower level impersonation. And he's just wearing his sweet whatchamacallit janitor's outfit.
Yep. And like I think that would be super cool. Like that would be if I wanted to actually bring him, you could keep him the same. You could even make him a little bit more expensive because he's got that extra -3 and he's a little bit more durable than those other guys. We should do a
roundup episode of all of our solves for these profiles that never get used. Honestly, we should do a roundup episode where we just go through, because I think people would enjoy that, of like units that don't get used enough and our fixes.
It's a shit profile. But maybe it could be good.
Yeah, but people aren't going to agree. They're going to come out of the woodwork and tell me about all the times Casanova killed them.
Sure. They're allowed to be wrong.
Dude, Casanova, me wrong. The last time I remember bringing Casanova, I walked around the corner and tried to dodge into melee. I laid an EM mine, and then I walked up and tried to dodge into melee with the Avatar.
Yeah.
The Avatar sepsertized me. I failed my dodge. The EM hit and failed to wound him. And then he had Casanova, and it didn't even hurt the Avatar.
That's so funny.
And I was like,
man, this guy sucks.
Like, this should have worked.
This guy's a piece of shit.
Melee's bad.
Melee's bad. Everything's bad.
Don't use melee, and we've talked about this.
No, there's no melee. Crushers then. Moving on.
Next show.
We have to do Crusher. Oh, sorry. I guess we go back to light infantry. Yeah. That's because I sorted by forward deployment.
You silly boy.
I know. Fine.
So Joe
I used to take her all the time.
So Joe is a pretty cool lieutenant option in this, I think. Because for 15 points, you're only 3 points more than the Raven Eye, but then you can hide and pretend to be something else. You get Whip 14, which is a little higher, so they kind of know that it's Cho, because there's not really any other Whip 14s that can be lieutenants. But you're kind of hiding. The problem is the good thing is she's got a multi-rifle nanopulsar, so she can kind of fight late game.
That's the bad thing, though. To give her, she's
never going
to fight.
The problem is PS11, and so not a great fighter, and she's not a specialist. Give
her a combi and drop her by 4 points. You know what I mean? Like
that would help.
That's the thing is she's got gear she's never going to use. She's the reason I think she's not going to get used in the current timeline is she's paying for stuff she's never using.
So she pays the chain of command tax at 20, but now we have the Ment. And so before Cho was always a solid option of, hey, I bring a fighty lieutenant like Hector, and if Hector goes down or gets isolated somehow, you have Cho hiding as someone else in the background, and it's fine. But now you have the Ment for 6 points cheaper. So Cho just kind of gets laid by the wayside.
And also kind of better, like the Ment with all the riot stoppers and being a specialist, your men can actually like go and do things if you needed it.
Number 2,
once you're a chain of command, you're a specialist. So
I know that's what I'm saying.
Cho is too.
Cho is also a specialist thing.
Right. I was just saying that the Ment is doing it all. Like is also a specialist and is also got these really useful guns in like asterisk situations, of course, but.
None of us took Kappas. Nobody took Kappas, which is crazy because they're the core. They're your Fusilier. The Kappa hacker is still really good. They put him up a point.
The blue coat is your Fusilier. Blue coats are so good.
Kappa's supposed to be your Fusilier, but yes, blue coats are so good.
Yeah, for the splurgy extra 2 points for the blue coat, it's almost always worth it instead of just the Kappa. And like the special weapons line troops just don't really exist anymore without the big bonuses from fire teams.
Yeah.
And so you still have a nice 13-point half swick hacker, which is really efficient hacker. Like,
And your FO gets a deployable repeater, which is very cool. Mostly they get flash pulses, but this one comes with a deployable repeater, which is interesting.
Well, you gotta spend an order to put it down. When are you gonna do that?
For sure. Yep. You're right.
When are you ever gonna do that?
Lawkeepers.
Lawkeepers, I actually love Lawkeepers, and I want
I
to
do
collect the
too.
second one. But the problem is you need to buy the whole Starmada box to get a Lawkeeper.
Or find one on, there's got to be on a trading site somewhere. Dan, you know how to find these things.
Look, I'm lazy.
8-6, not even 8-4, 8-6, BS12, Arm 2 BTS3, 1 Vita, Specialist. The 8-6 Specialist is just, like, by itself is a fucking great profile.
O12 in general is just like, if in doubt, they have the Specialist just built in. They're just everywhere. Anytime you want to like play a firefight and like, I'm not going to bring any specialists. You just can't. You just feel like, okay, well, you get 2 points for killing more specialists because I can't build a functional O12 list in all 3 of them without tons of specialists.
8, he's supposed to be Judge Dredd, and he's got a pair of CC -3, so he has his little stun baton, and then a multi pistol because he's got to have his Dread pistol. He's got to have his Lawgiver pistol. And you get everyone has a chain rifle, which is funny. These guys don't carry sticky guns. I like that the cops in this are the only guys who carry fucking lethal weapons because they're Judge Dredd.
They have their little side bots to be non-lethal.
I get it.
They come in when it's
they come in with the rocket stopper,
right?
Yeah, with the actual chain rifles.
It's escalated now, right? If the Lawkeepers are there, that's because
he's resisting. And then we got, so these are the ACABs, the Red Furies, combi rifles, across the board, underboard a shotgun. And then
I like the Red Fury.
Yeah.
Red Fury, it's got the BS attack +1 or BS attack SR -1. So it's basically a shock Spitfire.
Yep.
Right. So that's pretty good. He's got the mimetism. He's got the dodge +2 inches and a dodge +3, so he's dodging on 14s, which is really good for O12 because they're normally complete shit at dodging.
Yep.
The problem is he's big and awkward, and he has limited cover, and so his mimetism
frightened by stairs.
His cover,
frightened of stairs, can't get down. Yeah.
Some of those things, it's exactly 8 inches from like if you put him at the base and then like move him up. There's like an exact perfect 8-inch spot where he can fly up. Not all of them, though. Yeah, he's kind of that in between, and he can also duo with the Okos and have that like the road fire teams, and so that's kind of cool. But the problem is the road bot just kind of does it a little bit better if you're running around pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Because
we have to talk about him because I almost took one, but then didn't, and he's great too.
Yeah, I kind of glassed over him. So. In short, the Lawkeeper is really fast. His side bots are really fun because they're like mini blue coats around the wall where they're only 4 points. You can't link, obviously, if you bring them, but if you're going to bring one, might as well bring 2.
Well, they get to do the corner shooting thing where someone comes out and you're shooting them with a face-to-face and also a not face-to-face template weapon. So, like, you get to double down. It's you either eat the template and shoot back at me, or you dodge and face-to-face everything. Or you get hit with the sticky gun.
And if you bring a Red Fury, you're 4 dice anyway, so it's pretty good. So if the dice go horribly, at least you're templating them.
He's also deceptively good in CC.
He is because of his Meister weapon, yeah.
Well, then the fact he's burst 3 as well because he's got his 2 boys that come in with him. So he flies 8 inches at you while his 2 side bots join the combat. So he's burst 3, CC 18 with a pair of -3.
Side bots also 8-6.
What's that? Yeah, the side bots are just as fast. Yeah, that's what I mean.
They all fly together.
If for whatever reason you wanted to, you could.
If you get desperate enough, or there's smoke or something that.
If you really want to be cheeky too, you could have the side bot be the one that fights.
With his,
they still have a pair of throw -3 at CC 13 and burst 3, right? And then he has to fight back against that side bot and kill him instead of killing your Lawkeeper because they've all got the same weapon.
Yeah,
you were talking about the road bot too, right?
Yeah, Dan took the road bot, so let's actually just like take a sidetrack here and talk about it because
he's the robot.
I only wanted to talk about him because he's the reason why all of the REM racers had to go away.
Yes, he sure is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait a
he's
second.
remote.
CC 29 Paris CC? No, you can't have that.
No, we don't allow this. He's the Zonnautica or the kitty cat. He's the Sujan, but he's a bike. I like him a lot. I love this guy.
Yeah, so he's got the high mobility form that has climbing plus. The combat form does not have climbing plus, but keeps
In a
armor 2
moment of
BTS 3
incoherence.
Yep.
with throw presence. Yeah, it's like you have wheels, you can climb. You have hands and feet? No. No climbing whatsoever.
No.
These Seku droids, however, with these big lanky arms and legs, they can climb. That's fine. I don't know. But no wounded cap remote presence is great. Keeps them alive a lot longer than they should be. So similar to Kitty, they got the dodge +2, dodge +3. So also dodging on 14s for 4 inches, which is also very nice, especially with climbing plus. You can pop up over lips and stuff like that, when otherwise it would be awkward. And can go prone. Move 8-4 or 4-4, and then BS11 or BS12 in combat. Only whip 12, which is unfortunate, because you kind of want him to be. I think did that go down this edition?
Always been with 12. No, he's always been with 12.
Might have always been whip 12.
Yeah.
So you kind of want him running forward and like pushing buttons, but at the same time, whip 12 it's a little rough.
It's
Also,
interesting because even though he
Yeah.
looks like a bike, he does get cover.
That's true.
And he's also
Always
size
gets
3.
And he's size 3. So he's more like a remote than he is like a bike, even though he looks like a bike. So it's something. Don't make assumptions with him like that he might not have cover or whatever, even though he looks like a motorcycle. He's more like a Zond or a Copperbot, not a Copperbot, the Copperbots than he is a bike. He just happens to turn into a size 5 dude.
He basically has a fighty profile or a paramedic profile. And so you can either get a marksmanship rifle with light shotgun or a Red Fury, or there's a Red Fury sidebot option. Sidebots are also the 4 points. They're exactly the same as what you get with the Lawkeeper. And the paramedics are either you get the Panzerfaust drop bears or Panzerfaust heavy riot stopper, or that profile with the sidebot.
He's hella dangerous.
I like the drop bears profile.
Yeah, I like the specialist profiles too because he's so fast.
Yeah, paramedic. So he's a paramedic, so he's specialist. He's got Panzerfaust. So I mean, Panzerfaust is already scary, even though he's only BS12 in combat form. But like, he can just run and hide. Like in supplies, you can just like go grab a box and just like run up on some rooftop in your deployment zone, or hanging off the back of a building in your deployment zone, and just make sure someone has to spend all the orders to come get him.
He's a great standing ARO piece too, because he's so hard to kill in one order because of that remote presence, no wounding cap. He'll hold a zone forever, and then you have him go prone. And then he reloads from your nearby fuzzbots and stands up again next turn. After
I've never played him that way, but that checks out.
If you've got Parvati not escorted, just stick a Udbot next to him and have him stand up arrow piece, just shooting Panzerfaust everywhere. Because the Mimetism Panzerfaust piece is awesome.
And one thing is, so his transformation is auto. So any skill with the movement tag, before performing the skill, you can transform.
Yeah, go back and forth. Let's talk about lambdas. Nobody took them, but they're where we get our armed turrets and deployable cover from. Yeah, because that's still a thing we take.
When you could reload, spamming adhesive launcher turrets in your deployment zone was really
why
cool.
not? Yeah, double +1 burst adhesive launcher turrets. Hell yeah!
Because you just get one. All you need is one little hit through, and you're probably going to fail that Fizz -6, and then you're just.
You are very well trained, though. You're whip 14 across the board for your doctors and engineers, which is great.
Look at those
Not
skills. Love it.
The what?
The skills. The
Skills.
long line of
all of the
nothings.
skills.
It's because they're in brackets on their actual unit profiles, but it's very.
What are you, a jackal?
Yeah. I have nothing.
Yeah, they're a bit pricey. I wish they were less expensive. I wish they were.
Because
like,
it's because the doctor's the only one that is a naked actual dude. The rest of them are all this.
This is engineer man cost, right? Like that's a curator, that's a machinist, that's a like all those guys are sitting around 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Depending on like
whip.
usually your whip. And I think like your whip 14 instead of 13. So you all got a 1
12 on a machinist.
Yeah, well. I've never brought a machinist in a game, so
No, no one
I
should.
wouldn't know what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, Parvati is like almost 3 times as expensive, but like
She's like 7 times the guy.
if you're gonna bring someone to get someone back up, it's like Parvati.
She brings people back mint. She brings them back fucking as a PSA 10 graded fucking super card.
After killing the person who put them down.
That's right. After murdering the guys there. The pair SMGs. Let's talk about Tiangu's, the like borrow from Yu Ching unit.
Yeah. Otherwise, only in white banner.
Yeah.
But you only get one of them.
I like this profile. I wish I could have more than one.
It's all the same profiles you get in white banner. There's no difference as far as I can tell. Yeah, your 360 advisor, you got your warhorse. You can fit him in as wild cards. And so it's fun and cheeky to throw him into like a Nyoka link or something of like hanging out with Hector, and you can make him just like another Nyoka, and then you can have a jammer on him, and then when someone comes to hack Hector, you're just like a jammer.
That +1 burst EM Carbine Holomask Thunderbolts is a potential nightmare for a tag. You can stick him in with something fairly unassuming. The tag's going to go hunt and then reveal yourself to just be, oh, hello, I'm this guy instead. And then, go hunt a tag because it's only, 24 points for burst 3 EM Carbine? It's not bad.
26.
24.
Oh, I see. You're doing the
FTO.
one that doesn't have hollow projector.
Yeah, the FTO.
Because then you can mask it as something else, right?
The holo projector ones aren't terrible either. In that, although no, the holo projector don't.
I guess the holomask holo projector one you could pretend is 3 kappas.
Right, you can be kappa hackers or something because that's like
you could just pretend that you're 3. You could pretend you're 3 blue coats. You know what I mean? And then the guy comes to hunt down the 3 blue coats, and all of a sudden you're 1 EM Carbine with +1 burst.
I mean, I think you pretend to be 3 Raven Eyes.
True. And you have 3 Raven Eyes.
You can only bring 2, but then you'll have 4, and
then you'd have 5. Here's all 5 of my Raven Eyes.
And then it's hard to assassinate that Raven Eye lieutenant now. And
then the lieutenant one just doesn't lay a mine. Actually, wait, are these the ones that have the holomask one?
Yep.
No, they don't. So yeah, your Raven Eye lieutenant just doesn't lay it. So 4 of them don't have mines laid. Could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
I would never bring
tankers.
I would never bring these Tiangao. I think they're garbage in this faction. I think in other factions, it's like, oh, cool, we get an EM carbine. Yeah, I'm really hurting on Acrolat Goo EM stuff in my O12.
In this for sure. Yeah. You're swimming in that shit. All right, 11-point Tinker. He's your weirdo version of the whatchamacallit? The
expensive Tech B.
Tech B. Yeah.
It's got a +1 damage fastballs. Say no more.
Why don't you have a tag pilot?
Because your tag sucks.
Because the Zeta sucks?
Yeah.
I feel like you were supposed to have a tag pilot and they just forgot to put the skills in.
I think they forgot to put the skills in the Zeta.
Settle down. All right, your Vidox multi-purpose security brigades. Again, I wish this guy was good, but he has such a weird set of profiles. Min -3, NCO stealth terrain total, BS 13, R1 BTS 3, 1 wound. You have 2 of these guys. FTO boarding shotgun, FTO doctor, or an MSV1 multi-sniper rifle, or a surprise attack -3 camo multi-spectral visor level 1. What?
This guy is really, really good in Starmada. See you later.
This is Starmada.
Or sorry, the other one. Torchlight. Yeah. Vidoc will appear again.
The Vidoc doesn't. No, it does come in a bronze link.
But the Epsilon eats his lunch.
You don't want it in the bronze link.
The Epsilon absolutely eats his lunch. He's cheaper than the Epsilon, but the Epsilon does everything better.
And climbs, which is a big deal if you're going to run with the bronzes.
And the beta troops, yeah.
The only thing it kind of have going for it, it has a camo surprise attack sniper rifle.
Yep.
Right? That has NCO. So
visor plus camouflage is a pretty good wombo combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've now arrived at the powerhouse that is the intruder.
And he's like 30 points, so it's slight discount because it doesn't have the MSV2. So
What
it's
year
like
is it?
for 30 points, it's like, yeah, you could bring him. I wouldn't be like, why are you bringing him if you brought that? Anything else, it doesn't really fit in this faction.
Andromeda. I want to like her so much.
She's in my
His
box of
illustration,
like,
his 15 is just like, it's just not consistent
I
enough.
know.
you need a 12. Good luck.
I know.
That's why you bring Andromeda and Casanova, and then you got two 12s. That's like 60%. That's 120% chance of you landing.
She's pretty good in melee. She's got guard. She's shock immune, no wounding cap. Min -3, MSV3. Specialist stealth. Dodge plus 2 inches. Ugh. Big base.
I mean, martial arts level 3 means you get the 2 dice or the special dice on your DACC weapon.
Sure,
so
with guard too, right? So it's just line of fire within zone of control. You can melee up walls, which is a huge deal.
But and she's got the no wounding cap, so you can like peek a corner within 8 inches of somebody and be like, what do you want to do? And then you can just punch them or shoot them or whatever.
That 8-inch punch in melee can be a real thing, right? Because like if you're in cover with min -3 fighting melee in line of fire, you're -9 to hit her, which is a big fast. You're gonna shoot at her, right?
She wants to be like zipping and zagging like into the deployment zone, but she's just so fast.
She's very scary at 8 inches, and then a guy is 9 inches away from her, and she dies horrendously.
She dies horrendously.
She's specialist operative, which is nice.
She needs to flash pulse to save her life. That's all she can do.
I can shoot you on zeros with any of my weapons or flash pulses.
It's annoying because her boarding shotgun. You want to fight so much more with a boarding shotgun instead of a submachine gun, but then you lose the zapper, and a zapper can be so useful at times.
Yep.
But I think in previous editions she was fine, and now I don't know.
She's on my list of like, you don't know, when I played against Andromeda, she killed everything and I lost the game, and it's like, yeah, okay, like I believe you. I'm not going to say that didn't happen, but I am going to say, why didn't you just shoot her?
Like, what I'm saying is times have changed. Like she was really cool, and times have changed, and there's things that just in the same list now outclass her for what she does. For being a midfielder.
I mean, in this list, they don't have any midfielders, so like,
well, they do. They've got Sharkos now, which they didn't have before, right? So like, those Sharkos are like a thing that can go in the midfield, and you get almost 2 of them for her point cost, right? So like, what are you gonna take? I'd rather have that. So I just think it's a case of getting classed out as like the army progresses and the list progresses. Speaking of which, Crushers. Again, none of us use these guys. Man, there is so much stuff we didn't use. Like, we overlapped so much in this episode. It's crazy. Usually we have a better spread than this, and we skipped a ton of profiles that we didn't decide to use. Why do you think none of us?
You guys were just, I was special. You guys.
I know you went first. But I'm saying we all copied you, dude. We all copied you. We learned it from watching you. Why did we not take Crushers? Like, what do you think? Is it because
Crushers were kind of bad last edition? They were just maybe, I don't know. They're just awkward because they're kind of pricey. They're in that like premium kind of midfielder, like that 25 to 31 points. But like the 25 pointer is, I don't think, ever worth bringing because it's only got a submachine gun flash pulse decharge. I mean,
give him a duo Harris, and I think they got legs.
It's the main problem is that they have EMCC weapons, which are really awesome, but no martial arts and only CC-17. And so it's like, what the hell are they doing with that weapon?
Yeah.
Like, they're never going to use it unless they're desperate. And then they just
which is inflating their cost. Yeah. They do have decharges to do things like up front. And they're great fighters. BS-13, Arm 2, Mim 3, Courage, no wounding cap, shock immune. Like, they're all FOs for some reason. I think they're a decent troop type. I just think they need a duo. They need some order efficiency, and you could make a little like fire team of.
They're all 4 deployment +8 or parachutist or combat jump.
Well, you can have 4 deploy links.
Sure. But they're kind of like that special.
That does exist.
That's what I'm saying. Like a duo of the multi rifle with the SMG light rocket launcher. That's a fucking cool 60 points of running around, messing stuff up doing objectives. I love that little team. Right now, I just don't see a reason to take them. This is a guy I'm surprised nobody took next up, though, is the Epsilon.
Why would you be surprised?
Because the reason that no one took him, I think, is because they took away his beta trooper keyword.
No, they didn't.
Oh, no, they didn't. He kept it. Why didn't we take this guy?
He's super solid. He's like the classic, hey, I'm MSV2 with Climbing Plus and Mimetism and BS13, and I can link with other Climbing Plus people. And I can either be a multi-sniper rifle, or I can be HMG or shock marksman, and I can just go and fight anything. The problem is he's only one wound.
Yeah.
My answer is, if you want me to pay 60 points for the duo of these guys, I'm just going to break a bronze.
Sure.
Like, wow, that sure is a combo that you can do with a sniper, but the bronze is also just everything. And cheaper comparing to the combo.
I like the shock marksman rifle to just smoke shoot with Varangians, right?
Sure.
Sticking with a beta trooper and
have them the low cost of 56 points. You can also have a multi rifle. Sorry, it's not even multi; it's just marksman rifle. So it's like very specific who it'd be useful against, which is to say Ariadna and some Hackazam stuff.
Like, I don't know why
this is the problem.
I shock marksman instead of multi marksman. If it was multi marksman, that'd be a lot better.
I'd be more on board with it. But again, it comes down to the point that like you're paying like 30 points for this guy, and there's Shona's 22. Varangians are even cheaper than that. Like anything that I want my sniper to go pick shots at, why don't I just send a Varangian and Shona? Because whatever it is that's hiding under that thing will be either dead or revealed very soon.
And the bronze can just brute force it. Yeah.
And the bronze will just walk through. And like, because like, if it wasn't for the fact that bronze are unique to Starmada, I'd probably less inclined to bring them. But like, if I'm playing Starmada, I'm going to bring the
signature piece. Yeah.
Like these are the boys and they're uniquely powerful. Like there isn't really models like bronzes in the game.
It's even whatchamacallit, the guy from the Hoplite is the only thing that's close.
And even the hoplites don't hold a candle to these guys. Like bronzes are so much better than the hoplites. Like they're better in melee. They move faster. They're tougher. Like they've got so much going on.
Epsilon was like a go-to for many years.
Yeah, I use them all the time.
Like with the progression and everything, and Albedo is just kind of you could leave alone, but then you kind of have that Vidoc where you could save 2 points, lose 1 level of MSV, but get camo and surprise attack. And so you're like, well, I think I'd rather have the camo sniper because
there's a lot of the case in Starmada of stuff that's kind of like drifted. It's drifted into there's other things that do my job better territory.
They're so good until they fail 1 save.
Yeah.
And then they're down. And then you're like,
or even just when you compare them in the same role to stuff in the same list, right?
So good until he fails 1 save. The Jackaboot.
The Jackaboot. -1 BS attack, combat instinct, immunity enhanced, religious troop, warhorse. Man, this guy does not suffer mods from anybody. BS 13, arm 3, BTS 3, but 1 wound. And 88-2. You get an engineer, paramedic, NCO. You can have an HMG, AP submachine gun, light riot stopper, Panzerfaust, paramedic, +1 burst Thunderbolt, EM carbine, flash pulse, forward observer, AP submachine gun with an armed turret, AP Thunderbolt, and an emitter, this engineer, and then a basic engineer and a heavy rocket launcher guy. This guy is.
By the way, this was why I said I would never bring a Tian Gao. Because this guy's he's just a better Tian Gao in every way. He's tougher, his gun's stronger, he's a better shot. Like, I'll just bring this guy for 1 point more, maybe 2.
Tian Gao has Mim though, right? No, actually doesn't. Oh wow.
No. Like, why would I bring a Tian Gao? Because like that BS attack
could be like a surprise killer hacker or a jammer.
Yeah. I guess you would.
Outside of that.
But like for what Ash was saying, where he wanted to use him as like that EM carbine Thunderbolt guy. This guy is that exact same guy, only his EM carbine is actually good because it's SR -1 as well. So it's damage 6 instead of 7, which is a big shift.
And higher armor.
It sure is.
And immunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like the paramedic or engineer profile to just be the guy standing up with the emitter or the Panzerfaust.
Get in a fight.
I made that list, Dan, where it's just 2 of these guys and 3 bronzes. It's just 5 immunity enhanced guys. It's
Just
not very good.
fighting the world.
It's just so tricky that Arm 3, BTS 3, but again, you just fail that one save and you're just like, dang.
There's
you hit
so much
a
immunity in
mine
this
and you have a
faction.
50-50, you just die. Like,
So much immunity in this army.
wow, not really. It's just those two. Looks cool though. I guess it's 2, which is a lot more than the 0 that most people get.
What's really annoying is the reinforcements box comes with 3 jackboots. Max AVA 2 in all factions now.
He gets swaps. That's all it is. Hector. Nobody took him.
No, what?
So expensive. Hector.
Oh, Hector. You're jumping ahead.
I love him. How am I jumping ahead? You've done all the other
No
ones.
one cares about Bixie. Keep going.
I used Bixie, didn't I?
Did you? My bad.
I'm pretty
If
sure
you did,
I
it doesn't matter.
No,
No, you
I don't
didn't.
think I did. I didn't know. All right,
No,
Bixie's
no.
great. Go on.
Bixie
Alex.
exists.
Bixie likes high-fiving with bronzes because she has
Yeah.
NCO and
Yeah.
she can eat up those blue or those Raven Eye extra orders.
She can do that. And she also hangs out only when Shona's not around because she does what Shona does.
Yeah, she's better at it, asterisk, than Shona.
But cost
she's
twice as much.
Double, yeah.
Because Bixie can kind of do everything except fight long range.
She can literally do everything. But she has a multi-rifle. She doesn't fight super short range. And a flashball. She can fight up to 24.
Hector's pretty cool. But you have
Hector's
Saladin.
great.
Hector is twice the points of Saladin. He fights like a hero, though. Arm 5, BTS 6, shock immune. No one can get but 2 wounds, so like 3
It's
wounds.
one of those, you'd like to take a look at the points of Hector and you're like, wait, what? How many points? What's going on?
65, 64 points
3 orders.
for the leaders. 3 orders, yep. Timbot
Strategos
-1.
within a +1 order is just wonderful.
Just 3 orders, yeah.
So if
He's
you
a
look
guy
at
that
him
makes 3
as
orders.
like a 21-point model or 22-point-ish model times 3. But
And
like
dude
the
fights like a
bottom of this
hero.
faction isn't that low. That's the, like, you don't have the like really chaff guys. Like your chaff is like 12, 13, 14 points.
Yeah.
So you don't get to do the like net rod stuff or
Your
like-
bottom is 7. You get 1 7-point remote. That's it.
but that's what I mean. It's like, or you
And
get the
you
remotes,
and you only get that
get the
3
fuzzbots, you get the Kiatas, and that's all your
The
stuff.
cheapest
and
you
then
get,
everyone else is
the
up.
cheapest 3 orders that you have will cost you 23 points. It's
you bring 2
21
fuzzbots,
points.
the X,
23
just
points,
8
yeah.
points. And then
And one
an
kid
8 point, an
That's
8
it.
point, a 7 point. Get your Tinker at 11 points. And then you're
But
up
that's
to
what I'm saying is your cheapest 3 orders are 7 or 7, 8, 8, right? Like that's it. That's the
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel. So Hector being a tag, effectively, if you think of him that way, as he's your lieutenant who's a tag, because he's
Well,
like,
you get a dirt cheap
pretty
mend.
great.
So like it doesn't actually matter all that bad if he dies.
Exactly, if he dies.
And he can join a link of like, which flavor did you like? Did you like betas or do you want to bring Neokas?
Yeah.
And then he's just leading the charge with his unfortunate BS-13, but he's got a good
But
gun.
X-Visor, plasma rifle, he can suppress at no mods. He's got awesome armor, firewall built in.
Plasma
Giving
rifle.
the firewall to the group is also pretty handy.
Do you ever bring a Spitfire or do you always bring plasma?
I'll give you the plasma rifle. It's so much more dangerous.
One time I was a point short and I brought a Spitfire.
Yeah.
It made no difference.
The plasma rifle is so crazy dangerous this edition that I would always take it if I could.
I think it's more that everything that was more scared of Spitfires, there's now more things that you need plasma to kill. Like immunity popped up all over the place for arm.
Yeah. And the fact that plasma takes away, it's going to take away your cover mod, right? So it's effectively baby AP, right?
Yeah.
And then the fact that it's always 2 rolls, one probably against your lower stack because you're usually going to have lower BTS than armor, unless you're something weird like a salamander or whatever.
Or you're in Kestrel or Shinden.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have built-in weirdly good stats.
He's
No,
got
he's
built-in
cool.
Firewall,
But again, you're paying the
BTS 6, armor 5, whip 15.
and the X-Visor means you can ship 24 at zeros with most of your guns. Actually, up to 32, I think, with the rifle.
Yeah. Plasma rifle.
So
is 32.
0 at 32. That's huge. You're shooting normies
Okay.
in cover at 10s.
Pretty good. And you get the special dice. Not
Mhm.
You have to fight a little bit for it, but not too hard.
I think you just bring it with Neokas if you really want the special dice.
I agree.
And then you just do that. So they're cheap.
And take the cheapy rocket one so that you can get the.
I'd probably go paramedic bronze Neoka him. that would be like, this is my A team.
I can cover every range bands.
Yep.
I get
And the
this is
bronze and Hector are
120
good enough where they can
points.
split off and be fine. Like they don't
Yeah.
have to be a fire team.
It's 120 points of killing and it comes nearby.
The
And everything
real sad
shoots
part about
templates. You
Hector-
never get cover against them.
No climbing plus on Hector. Come on.
He walks through the walls. He just Kool-Aid mans his way through life.
He walked out that gate and he never walked back in.
Never walked back in.
He's only 4-4, so he's a little slow.
Yeah.
But he can
He shoots in every direction up to 32 at zeros.
he can do real good.
Knights of Santiago, you get one. We've talked about them before.
We really needed to give them
I
a
know.
drop trooper that wasn't a crusher because crushers are bad. So
So
here's
we
a
don't
Just
Santiago.
need drop troopers.
Yogis can be drop troopers, but only parachutists, right?
Yeah, they don't get combat jump. You only get one
combat
combat jump guy.
That's just
Well, and the crusher.
Yeah.
Crusher has that one profile. But we already talked about why you wouldn't bring crusher.
he's just
I
too
thought
expensive
Santiago-
in this faction to take one drop guy. They're still good. Like the combat jump, super jump one.
You can stick him in the bronze fire team. I don't know why you would.
He can be
Because he's firewall. Because he's a 31 point firewall.
Yeah.
If
He
you,
wants to
for whatever reason, wanted the firewall killer hacker.
Firewall killer hacker just in a link.
Yeah.
But again, thanks
A
for
lot of
coming.
points for what he does. All right, get ready to dunk, Owen.
I hate him. He's just
Zeta. Zeta. I mean,
Wait, you actually hate him?
I don't hate him. I like
He's
him.
great. He's one of
He's
the
too
better
many
guys.
points. He's too expensive.
he's definitely not one of the better tags.
He's not
100%. He's not
He has
even
been.
close.
Maybe not now.
Yeah.
no
No tack aware crippled this man. They took
No
him out back
tack-aware
and
hurt.
shot him.
no
Yeah.
tack aware and NCO is a replacement for no tack aware, and the NCO is more expensive than the lieutenant version, which I find hilarious.
That's always
He's-
been the case.
I know.
Full 2 Swick, no discounts, despite like the Gator
Oh,
existing.
that's a change actually.
Yeah.
It used to be the
Like-
2 Swick on the NCO, but it was
Yeah,
only-
and the 1.5 on the lieutenant. Yeah,
You're not really using all your Swick in this faction though, so it's not that big of a deal.
Now, I mean, I do respect the ECM guided -8. I'm glad it survived another
it's
edition.
it's still such a weird number. This
It's
pointless
not
minus
too
8 that
powerful.
we don't know where it came
Yeah.
from.
Yeah. You'll never get hit by a rocket, but it's there and it looks cool. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I
And he's
think
still
this
and he's
tag is-
he's a climbing plus hyper rapid magnetic cannon, which is not nothing.
I mean, is it though in a faction littered with climbing plus? Like basically
I-
everything we've looked
It's
at.
still
I
a
know it's not a
solo
hyper
5
rapid.
dice gun. You know what I mean? That kills anything. It's a great gun. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
five
Like
five
it-
dice is like you can go over and fight 2 people at the same time and be more or less okay.
Yeah, like a beta trooper with a Spitfire who has 5 dice, and you get 2 of them for the price of a Zeta, less than,
Not
and they have
everyone-
2 orders.
this guy has 2 orders. You take lieutenant.
Sure.
or NCO.
I mean, if you're gonna bring him, you bring the lieutenant, and you just bring him in, right? Like,
Yeah.
fine, you could do that.
It's the same. It's the same argument as taking a fighting Hector, right? You just
Right.
It's really annoying that we don't have a tag pilot.
Why does he not have tag aware? I don't understand why he doesn't have tag aware.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't make any sense to me why he is what he is with no tag aware.
why
He
he's
dropped
worse
his
than a
points,
gator.
But yeah, this was one of the weird ones of like some tags lost tack aware, and you're like, some of them you're like, okay, kind of makes sense, but the Zeta
It
was
feels like it was to like satisfy some type of point like system, like whatever their value system based on skills and stuff was. They lost attack war, and I don't get why. I don't.
Yeah, and then they decided to just hit the pipe again, and then gave the frigging what's he called, the tick belaying, an extra order on top of his tack aware for the same cost, and you're like, excuse me.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Like-
BS-14, BS attack, SR-1, hyper rapid magnetic cannon is not this edition. I haven't tried him out this edition, but he's won me so many games. of
He's
just-
so good. He's so
it's
good.
so
with the
hard to
problems.
see everything that he like. You know, like hard to imagine where he can get to and what he can see and how he can get to those back troops and just eliminate all of your troops. Of hey, I'll just walk over here and I'll see 3 of your cheerleaders.
I will say, if you take him though, you have to take a meds and you got to take some way of fixing him because you're putting so many points into him. He can't die. He has to survive. You got to
Yeah.
take some Parvati Udbots bullshit to make sure it gets fixed.
Maybe if you could link Like if he could drag his engineer with him to make up for the fact that he's short in
Orphan
order.
style. Yeah, orphan style. I think it'd be
Like,
fine.
there's a bunch of guys who can do that kind of thing, but the orphan's like a perfect example of it. But like
He's in
like
no five teams. He's just by himself. Yeah.
it is jarring how bad he is compared to a Tick Belang for the same cost. The Tick Belang is the same price as this guy, and is just better in every way. He has 2 less armor.
And a worse gun.
Multi HMG is pretty good gun, or sorry, just regular HMG now.
Regular
so yes, he has a worse gun, but he gained mimetism, a higher BS. He still has climbing plus. He has 4 orders instead of 2 orders. Like he has a flamethrower instead of a riot stopper.
Yeah, mimetism BS15 compared to +1 burst AP. It's just kind of like
and we
much
try
rather
not
have the Tick Belang.
we try not to cross-platform or cross-faction compare here because the mix does matter, but it is pretty jarring. You're not wrong.
And like it's only because like, and this is what I say whenever someone comes at me with the like, there's a scoring metric here. Okay, but how? What is the metric then? Because like these guys are so close to being the same. Unless the Hyper Rapid is like really, really, really up there in value.
I think it is. I think it's a super high costed.
You gave up a BS. You gave up 2 you gave up 2 orders. You gave up mimetism for 1 dice and AP. Like that's what you got.
Yeah, I feel like if there was a point cost whatever thing, it's like the gold standard. It's been abandoned a long time ago.
Like if he had tag aware, I'd have nothing to say. He'd be perfectly fine. He'd be like, if you want to run a tag list, I would say bring the Zeta. But without tag aware, your list, this faction just doesn't have the order pool because the little guys are too expensive. It's the problem you have if you want to run Hector. But the difference is Hector is 3 regular orders for 10 points less.
3 regular orders and also fights like a fucking hero.
12 points cheaper.
Yeah,
like he's cheaper and he gives you the extra orders, which we were already hesitant against him because you couldn't bring the really cheap guys to really make it work. And then it's like, but here's a more expensive, less order efficient guy, and it's like,
I think at 4 more beginner games where people aren't good at hiding or deploying, the Zeta can really abuse a lot of things. It's still really powerful, but at like top, more competitive play where people know what they're doing and know how to deploy properly, the Zeta will struggle.
Or just like a camel marker with a hacking device shows up,
Also
and the Zeta's just completely crippled.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm VTS 6. I hope I don't get isolated or possessed. That sure would be bad.
that sure would suck. I have no way of linking with a firewall.
Yep.
All right, we're in the home stretch. Final profile: Nightshades.
Well, before that, just most of the remotes all have climbing plus, which is great.
That's just a comment about their generic pile of remotes.
Fuzzbots don't, Kittas don't, Millicents don't, Oko. So what you're saying is most of them, you mean the Oko?
Look,
And Peeler.
Look, the Evo Hacker one, the Flash Pulse, and
It doesn't.
The two
they
that
never
are gonna,
have.
the 2 that are gonna move.
Yeah. Oko and the Peeler. They have it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
By most, I mean 2 out of 3.
By most, I mean 2
2
or
out of
3. By most, I mean some. And by some, I mean 2.
2 out of 5.
Look, the robots and the second droids are technically remotes.
Nightshades it is. Bang
Nightshades.
on +4. They gained that. So they dodge against shooting on 14s or 16, sorry.
Whatever.
Camo Courage, forward deploy 8, hidden deployment. Martial Arts 3, Mim 6, Stealth, Super Jump, Surprise Attack 3, Terrain total. And they have an EMCCW PS6 and a Para -6. They get up to that -9 as well with 3 die or with 2 dice.
I'm so torn on these guys because they seem so good on
These guys
paper.
are actually a -12 because they have the surprise as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. -1,
Yeah.
-12.
These guys are actually good. You only get one, but I think
You
he's
only get
actually
one,
good.
But he could actually jump a tag and be like,
He can jump anybody. Like
it's true.
outside of a natural born warrior, which is the thing he doesn't want to fight.
Which
it's
which just ignores it. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be like, and like he's BS12 still. He still has Mim 6. He still has a surprise attack, so you could shoot somebody.
He will go to a failure state though against another martial arts guy. He'll go to 19.
Yeah.
I mean,
But again, if you're
not jumping in against
two dicing, you're two dicing. Yeah.
if I was
Two
two
dice
dice on 19s and they're one dice or
Minus
two
12.
dice on like what, a
Eight.
13 or a 12,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I'll take that too.
Yeah, he's got the cool thing of his hidden deployment, which is great. So you can like pop out with your Mem 6 camo and just kind of be like, oh crap, he's coming. But it's just when he can like jump into combat with somebody from camo and then surprise attack, and you're like, okay, well, do I shoot him? Because it's surprise attack and mimetism.
You're minus 12 either way because it's mimetism.
Right.
So like it's all of it. Actually, if you shoot him and he CCs you, you're technically at minus 18.
What?
But you're capped at minus 12. So if he shoots you and you go in, you're
if you go with the parries,
the mimic, and you use your para weapon, you'd be minus 18.
Well, if you go in and they try to melee you back, you can para CC weapon and give them minus 12. Or if they try to shoot you, you can EM CC with and still give them minus 12. Yeah. And so you got that one big kablamo of like, I don't care who you are, you got minus 12 shooting. It's gonna be bad for you. And so you kind of get like free hits.
Yep.
And you decent chance at critting as well with the 2 dice. So and then you just go camo again and go do it again and kind of carve people out. So really good at killing like big, scary pieces.
I think this guy is there's like a bunch of scenarios that he does well in, like specific scenarios. So like mind wipe. He's really good in mind wipe. The unmasking, he's really good at because he's everything for mind wipe with that killer hacker. Right?
Oh, the killer hacker he is. Yeah.
Like, so don't look at any other profile because the killer hacker is like the perfect man for the guy that like you're wanting to use, right? Because he's going to hit and deploy and he's going to forward deploy. And most of these scenarios have exclusion zones, but even if they don't, like mind wipe, he by himself can go do everything for you in mind wipe. He has stealth, he has super jump, he has a marker state, he's a specialist, he can decharge it, he can hack, he can like everything you need. He's this one guy and he'll just go do it. It's funny,
he can avoid cyber masks too with the whatchamacallit with the he can avoid sensors with cyber mask. So if somebody has sensors around, he can turn into a smiley face instead of turning into a camo marker, so sensors can't pop him.
And also they don't prevent him from doing that. Because you can't go into a camo marker if there's a sensor nearby, but you can go into cyber mask. So you always get away.
Yeah. And you always get a surprise too after that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, does he die to a chain rifle? Yeah. Yeah, he does. Sure. But like, just don't run into that.
Who amongst us doesn't though when you have this stuff, Ryan?
Yeah. But like, as far as the 30-point hidden guys, and they're all across Infinity, he's great. He's like, he doesn't suffer all the problems they do. Like if you look at, because we talked about JSA not too long ago, look at this guy compared to like a ninja or an Oni Waban. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, he's more expensive than the ninja, but like he just beats the pants off that ninja. And also he goes and does a bunch of other stuff too.
He steals that ninja's lunch money. Yeah.
Yeah. And he is more expensive. So if you compare to an Obi Waban, he beats an Oni Waban on average in melee too. Like he's also better at that. So he took both of their good things and was like, nah, I can do that. I'm just better than you.
Sure are.
Yeah. So I think this guy, I wouldn't bring him in every list. Like it would be very scenario dependent. But in those scenarios, I'd bring him. He's great.
It's tough because you kind of want to bring him as the killer hacker so you can go do scenario things. Yeah. But you kind of just want to murder with him as well. And then like, who's got time for scenario? That's what the Sarcos are for.
No, the Sarcos are there to murder things. You've got it all backwards. The Sarcos suicide themselves, putting parrots down and then die. The Nightshade then goes and wins the game.
Could be the case. But that's
it. That's the Starmada. So how do we feel about them as the OG like faction or the OG sectorial going into this edition? Because I feel like that a few profiles kind of got left behind because we did have a bunch of like overlap where we didn't take them. Not that they're not usable, like they're not garbage, but that some things have floated above. Like I do feel like there's some units in here that could take a tweak. Like Epsilons could use a tweak. Or Casanova and Andromeda could both use a tweak because they're your big names in here. Like, there do feel like there's some profiles in here that could use a little bit of love, like a little bit of just like a nudge. Let me just see if I can get my thing. So everybody listening, I had a power outage all of a sudden, and the whole thing went fucky. But luckily, everybody else was here in the meeting still, and I was able just to jump back in. So I'm just going to see if I can get my backgrounds here to work again.
We're going to hope that the whole recording is saved.
And hope that the whole recording is saved. Otherwise, here we go. And did I just show up? There I am. There's me for a second. I do have a background. Fuck it. All right, whatever. This is as good as it's going to get. I'll just use this.
What did we start talking about? What were we? Oh, and I had a little.
We were winding down. This was ending basically. We were going to say that next week is going to be the.
I was ranting that this is my favorite faction.
That's cool. That's cool. It's your favorite faction. What's your favorite faction? Hello?
Has its strengths, has its weaknesses, but it just feels different, which is great for an Infinity faction.
Yeah, they feel
I like them because they can do all kinds of shit. They have tons of choice. You have so many things that are good. And you can't afford them all.
Yeah, well, it makes you make decisions. So you can't take everything. You have to have a little bit of like one thing or another thing, and there's like a level of you can't fit it all in, which I think is good for a faction. But my one concern is we didn't take certain things because they do feel like they're second fiddle to other things in the list, and that means that it's time for them to get a tweak.
Yeah, there's definitely a handful of people that are just garbage in this faction.
Yeah,
but
and I think that would open up list building if you made them unique. You know what I mean? Like like the solve with. I think it was a clever solve saying we should give impersonation to Casanova, because I think that creates list opportunities. You know what I mean? To change up and make a different kind of list, a midfield list or a cross table list that just is different.
And he's so expensive. Like he's expensive enough that you are making a sacrifice to bring him, which means like what kind of list do you need to build for him to be able to do his job? Or like, does him threatening now change the way you need to play your list otherwise?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan of Starmada. Like I like O12 in general, but out of all of the O12s, this is the one that I feel has the most kind of going on in ways you can play.
I haven't played. I mean, when they got their big update with the Sarcos and the Seku droids and the robots way back when, like I played a little bit then, but I haven't played a ton with them since then because I was exploring into Yujing. Right. So that's kind of on my list of things to do is to explore O12 a lot more. Kind of when this next event, I'm going to play White Banner and kind of get that out of my system so I can say I played White Banner on an event and then I played all the Yujing factions. No, I still haven't played Vanilla. Whatever. I want to. And so then I can revisit Starmada.
Cool.
The Way of the Bronze.
Sounds good. Well, then next week is going to be our fellows over in Torchlight Brigade. This is the one that I think Owen's played the most recently. You played a bunch of games of Torchlight and really enjoyed it.
Torchlight's a monster.
All right, so apparently the power just doesn't want to stay on here in Southern Ontario, which means it's time to wrap. The universe wants this episode to be over. And we'll be back next week with some, I guess, of the second sectorial. There's only 3 episodes in this whole faction because it's just Torchlight Brigade and then O12. And as Owen was saying, Torchlight Brigade is a real monster. So we'll be back next week for that. Next time I'm Ash, and this is Owen and Dan. Have a great night.
Bye.